Okay. Hey, welcome to our live stream today. This is Awakening Leaders, the call. And today we're going to talk a little more in depth about what many of you have already heard, but we also have some of the newer people coming into our world, I guess, through Facebook ads. I'll be sending out this as a replay to all of them and you, speaking to them as you are watching this replay. So that's really what we're doing today is going in depth. Tiff and I have been at this work, right? We've been doing this for a solid all of our lives, to be quite honest, getting here. But for the last 16 plus years, we've been actively coaching in our private coaching business. And then group coaching has been going on for 6 plus years. Can
Has
you
it been
believe?
that long?
Yes, it was
Holy crap.
2026. So yeah, we're at our sixth years. And thank God, because a lot of you here on this call today are the rebel pattern breakers in the world. You guys are next level renegades. You're all about it. You're serious about not living stuck in the status quo of life. I'm going to open up my chat thread right here so I can see your awesome comments. And you guys go wild. Like the chat thread's yours. Like go nuts. You feel free to go ahead and like type in whatever you'd like to type in as we move along. And Tiff and I have been in this business for a good while. And I've been doing a lot of connect calls. We're rolling out our Facebook ads. We're selling our $1 breakthrough bundle. And when I jump on the connect calls with people that come in and purchase the bundle, they are like, wow, wow, thank you for doing this and thank you for reaching out. One of the things that I do after someone purchases or they just opt in, so some people don't end up buying the bundle. I would call that an opt-in. They give us their name and email for whatever reason, maybe didn't have their card saved on their phone or whatever, right? And so I always send them a message and I send them a video. I'm like, hey, we're real people. This is not this is not a scam. You have just changed your life and you're never going to get rid of us, no matter how hard you try. And so it's just a really amazing thing to be reaching because I know that most of you here on this call, we met through, you probably found us through a Facebook ad or friend of a friend or something. And here we are. And there is no accident that we're here. And it is no accident that we're having this conversation. And you must understand that you are a leader on this planet. You are here for a reason. You're not just a little passerby. You're a pattern breaker and you're serious about living your life your way. So buckle up. This is going to be fun. And we're here for it. And Tiff and I, so of course, we hop on, we're like, okay, we're going to teach. What are we going to talk about? What is this going to be? What are we doing? And today it was just really clear that it was important for Tiffany and I to talk in depth again about how this all came to be, right? How we arrived here today doing yet another live stream. God, I bet if we added up all the hours we've spent on Zoom over the last while, it's a lot of hours. Like this, I'm so grateful for technology. I'm very, very grateful that we have a way to talk to you and that we can talk back and forth through social media, through our phones, through Zoom, through all the technologies. We are living at a time on this earth when everything is working together to create a big, huge, connected global truth. That's my intention.
Hey, why don't we have everybody share where they're from in
I'd
chat?
love that. Get busy. Where are you joining us from? Drop it in the chat thread. You can tell us your favorite food at the same time if you want to.
Yeah.
Like, tell us your favorite food. What's your favorite snack?
Helen is from Western Australia.
Wow, Helen and Graham. Let's see, where are our
UK.
friends? Let's see. Oh,
UK.
Texas.
Oh, I was like, UK and Chinese? I'm like,
Chinese food.
Chinese, like you're Chinese? Oh, I
That
do
is
love
horrible.
Chinese. In fact, I could eat that right
BC,
now.
Canberra, Australia. I'm always very, very impressed with our Australian contingency in our group. And God, you guys are, I mean, we live all the way halfway around the world from each other. And here we are, like rubbing shoulders at probably 2 in the morning for 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning for some of you in Australia.
Hmm.
Fredericksburg, Fredericksburg, Virginia. There we go. Texas. I'm not seeing anyone talking about your favorite food. Like that gives Tiff and I like a really good, like awesome feel because then we get to know more about you as a person.
Ooh, Barb, me
Pizza
too.
bar.
I love pizza.
Okay, pizza. Come on. You guys have to share your favorite food. Or one lamb roast dinner, Kelly Percival. Good Lord.
Nice.
Potato chips and wine and fish tacos.
I think that is amazing.
Right? Red wine or white?
Chocolate. Rosemary, do you like dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
And Cecilia's Italian food. Cecilia, are you a pasta lover?
Oh, I am.
Yeah. She
Ah,
loves
I could make
chicken
love
chow
to
mein.
pasta.
What, babe? I'm sorry.
I said I could make love to pasta.
You could. I'm not, I like pasta.
Roll
I love Tiff's
I'm
pasta.
naked in pasta.
I love Tiff's pasta. It's so good, but historically, no. I was never like, hey, I'm gonna go get myself some pasta. But it's the creamy sauce on the pasta or the tomato sauce that Tiff makes that makes me love the pasta. I could actually eat the pasta, no pasta, just the sauce.
Chicken chow mein, delicious. All chocolates, but it must
Oh,
be quality. I agree with that.
oh, Helen, Helen, we love a white wine from Australia. What is it called, babe?
I don't I don't remember, but it's a blue label and we do love it.
We do
That's
love
from
it.
Is it New Zealand or Australia?
Oh, maybe it's New Zealand. Oh, hers is from New Zealand.
Oh,
Sauvignon Blanc white wine from Marl
yes, yes,
Grove.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's nice. Mediterranean and brownies when stressed. God, I love you people. Italian or Greek? Greek food is
It
so.
is so good.
My go-to hamburger and fries and tequila. Most days, most days when I get home from work, I do one shot of tequila. If it's been an exceptionally heavy day, I do too.
Well, I guess I better share my food. My favorite food on the planet is a potato,
Oh God, it's true for you.
any kind of way. My favorite way is a baked potato with a shit ton of butter and sour cream and just the perfect amount of salt and pepper. And I could lose my ever loving mind.
And she's from Idaho. Well, you were born in Utah, but yeah, she's a potato lover. True story. True story. Okay, so if are y'all getting a feel for how loose we're feeling today? We're just loose and easy, and we hope you are too. This is a place we are going to have fun. We're going to talk, we're going to share, we're going to connect. I'm going to take you through a little exercise to help each one of you identify one of the patterns that are keeping you stuck and so that you can get conscious. The beautiful part about when you begin to do the work, right? Identifying the unconscious programming that's running your life. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But once you start recognizing, oh, I'm believing some bullshit and it's making me behave a certain way, as you get more conscious, then it can no longer rule your life unconsciously. Now it will still, you may see it run, but you have so much say. And that's where the real fun begins. So now Tiff, why don't we just jump in, and Tiff and I are going to speak to our origin story. And every time we tell it, many of you have heard us talk a lot about a lot of different parts. But today we're going to talk about from the beginning to where we stand today because it's relevant. It's relevant because we walk our talk. And the only reason we're standing where we are today is because of our work with breaking the patterns along the way. Otherwise, the patterns would have kept running the show, and Tiff would still be living in a dull marriage, and I'd be going to church like a saint, doing everything right, quote unquote, right. Because I'm so right now. I am living my right life, that's for sure. So, Tiff, why don't you go ahead? Just you jump in and start.
I just wrote a post today on Facebook called Break the Damn Pattern. And I talked about just a tad of our origin story, Jack and I. We've been doing this for a long time. And I'll just share a little bit about God, I have so much passion about this because from where I was to where I am now is fundamentally an opposite life. And as a little kid, I had such deep awareness of things. And being born a highly sensitive child, I was I was a strong observer and also a nonconformist. Some people know how to conform. I tried to conform, but I just don't have it in my bones. It just doesn't exist in me. So I feel like it kind of made my life harder in the vibrations that we were all living in growing up because I just couldn't submit to things that I truly understood were not aligned with my true self. Um, and as a kid, I just remember looking at adults and going, what are you thinking? What are you doing? What does this mean? Because I had this very strong belief that adults had evolved into honest, loving, kind people. I really did. And so when I would recognize that they were acting like what I think little kids act like, when I was a little kid, I had a lot of cognitive dissonance. I was really troubled, like so hard, to the point where my mom takes me into the doctor when I'm 8 years old and puts me on all kinds of medications for depression and anxiety, and because I couldn't stop crying. And I was living in an abusive household. I mean, my story is kind of sad and gnarly. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I will tell you this. I knew from the second I popped out of my mother's stomach that this was a life for me to have joy in. I knew it and it would not go away. And so I then began a journey of walking a path of a tumultuous, non joyful experience within my family and my conditioning. So here I was, this bright little blonde haired girl that loved to wear her princess dress every single day. And I'd sit at the table for hours and curl my hair and put on makeup and wear my Barbie high heels. Like, because I was going to go out into the world and be a queen. That was it. And I'm going to have joy and a good time. And the world is amazing. And I lived in a family that was fundamentally the opposite of what I knew to be true. So, in that journey of life where I am combating the bullshit as I saw it, I was getting pretty worn down. My nervous system was not doing well. I had lots of stomach problems. I was on medication. They diagnosed me with all kinds of mental illnesses. I mean, when you're a little kid and there's violence in your home and verbal and religious and mental abuse, you don't feel very good, even if you know the truth. So as I aged, I remember in 8th grade, I kept having terrible experiences with bullying. And the thing that blew my mind is I couldn't figure out why. I was the kind of person that would say, Well, I'm willing to see if I'm doing something wrong. So I would start asking questions. Could you tell me what I did? Why are you mad at me? Da, da, da. My whole life, people have said, I can't remember. I'm just mad at you. And I was just like, I can't see what's happening. But I would end up in lots of physical altercations. Jack jokes around and calls me his street fighter wife, which is actually not a joke. I was in the streets of Idaho fighting in gang stuff, protecting myself, not starting fights. So life looked very, very dark, but I just could not believe it. And in eighth grade, I remember sitting down in front of those big stereos that they used to have back in the 80s that, you'd open the top and it'd have the record player and the 8-track player, all that stuff. I would turn on music and I would close my eyes and I would rock back and forth and I would create in my mind the kind of life I wanted. And I did it for hours. And one summer, I'm sitting there doing this and I'm like, I'm not going to be bullied anymore. I'm not going to live this kind of life anymore. Next year in school, in my ninth grade year, I'm going to change everything. So I closed my eyes and I literally watched myself walk into school. Friends would come and talk to me. I was popular. I mean, you name it. I thought about it. I'm like, this is the life I want. I know this is for me. I know this is true. And that next year is exactly what happened. And by the end of the year, I was one of the most popular people in school, and I won the most talented award in the whole school for my music. And I began to understand that what we are thinking is very, very important. Did the shit at home stop? Did all the abuse at home stop? Absolutely not. It got worse. But I changed my mind. And I did not submit to the lies or the conditioning of my family. And listen, I come from a wild family. My mother is one of 10 children. My grandfather was the sheriff of Ogden when it was the most crime-ridden city in the world. And he was undercover in the mob. And so, as you can imagine, the mentality of my family is all about fighting and violence and wild energy. But I didn't want that for my life. So what I did is I had my home life, but then I'm like, I'm going out into the world and I'm going to create something different. And that's when I started changing my thinking and taking all that conditioning that they had flung upon me, that the world is not safe, you are a mistake. I mean, I could go on and on. I simply said, no, I'm not doing this. And my life continued on. I had a lot of conditioning to unravel. But not only that, I had my genetics were programmed to feel afraid. And I had to sit with that and really take a look. Moving up to about the age of 25, I was having all kinds of health problems. In fact, I had internal bleeding. And what had happened was they couldn't figure it out. I had 6 surgeries. And in those surgeries, and it wasn't 25, actually, it was the age of 18 before I was married. There was other stuff that happened after. But I went in and I had 6 surgeries to find out where the bleeding was coming from, and they never could find it. And they said, if we couldn't see the blood coming out of you, we would think you were like nuts. But we can't fix it. So you're just going to have to go home. And if you die, you die. And if you don't, great. Well, I remember going home and sitting on my bed and saying, I'm here. I have a mission. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to live this way. Absolutely not. And the next morning I woke up and the blood stopped and never came back again. And then I started thinking even more about it. And then I got married and I had my kids and I had terrible depression, was in a terrible marriage, had 14 rounds of shock therapy, lost my memory. And then I came back and I'm like, don't I have control here? Isn't life supposed to be better than this? And so I began going that direction again. And within 10 years, I met Jack. And that's when I started really talking about this. This is when we started our business because we completely transformed our life from our genetics and from the conditioning of the people that we love. And listen, friends, you've all been conditioned to believe that you are less than you are. That was the plague of this life that we were born into. And people are sick and tired of doing the same things over and over again. When they want to feel different, they know there's more. They know there's something different, but they don't know how to do it. And I am the poster child for changing patterns and my life. I grew up in poverty. My first marriage for 21 years was in poverty. I was melting snow for water to flush my goddamn toilet and making ketchup tarts for my kids. So I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to be. But did you know it's not supposed to be this way? When you were growing up, did you know that you were here to have more? Did you know you have a purpose here? You probably didn't, but now you do, and you get to change it. And Jack and I are actually here to teach you, to give you the tools to change your patterns by changing your mind. So, Jack, I'm going to turn it back over to you because I know you have some things to share. That's just a kind of a nutshell of what my experience has been.
Well, there's so much more that you could share that you haven't even talked about, but okay, I'll jump in here. So Tiff and I have been together for 19 years of our lives. I'm 57. I know, who would guess? I'm totally joking. I really am. I like my age. I really do. I like my gray hair too. Um, yeah, so we've been together 19 years. We have a big story. We're big characters. Like we got, but we're both Leo sun signs. We're loud and we have a lot to say and here we are. I haven't always been this way. No, 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 no. Who you see today is not the person you would know. You wouldn't know me if you met me 20 years, 19 years ago. For sure, you wouldn't know me. In fact, here's a little FYI before I go a little deeper into my story. Tiff and I always go run the roads. We run the road.
I was just thinking of this, Jack. I was like,
Yeah,
I hope he tells
I
this story.
know. We just had this happen, and I would normally tell it in Mindset Reboot, but we don't have Mindset Reboot inside our group coaching on Monday. So all you guys buckle up that are here from the school. Here's Mindset Reboot. So Tiff and I run the roads. We love it. When COVID hit, we're like, great, we'll just run the roads more because there's no place to go be where other people are. But typically every weekend we'll go drive through the mountains. It's just what we do. We talk, we laugh, we fight, sometimes, rarely, but it happens here and there. And this time we were having a great day. We'll stop at the bagel shop. There's a great little mom and pop bagel shop, and their bagels are damn good. The Asiago cheese jalapeno, so good. And we were getting the bagels, and I always go in. I'm the one, Tiff sits in the car, and I go in to get the bagels, get my coffee, get the egg. Sometimes we get the pumpkin chocolate chip brownie or baked good, whatever you'd call it. Tiff loves it. And I know everyone, I know the people behind the counter, like they're my peeps. Walk in, having a great convo, talking to Annette. She's our friend. Give her a hug. We actually exchanged phone numbers. So Tiff and I can have a little cocktail party with her and her boyfriend one day. Anyway, I was getting ready to walk out and I see a man sitting at a table. Now, he's someone I know very well. He's my first cousin. And I've seen him several times in the bagel shop. He lives not too far away from the shop. And I never talked to him. He doesn't know who I am. I'm his first cousin. Like his wife was my closest cousin growing up. We'd go to family reunions every year. My cousins were my life. And this is her husband. I know him very, very well. His name is Doug, but he didn't know me because the last time I talked to him, truly, really communicated and talked, I was Susie because I have transitioned my gender. This is my story. And I am living my truth loudly. I transitioned. I always was a boy in my heart, but I didn't have context for how it could be. So I'm walking out, and you know what? I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to say hello. I am sick and tired of just walking by this human being that I am connected to because I don't want to have some uncomfortable conversation. I'm like, fuck it. I walked right up to him and kind of bent down. He was sitting, I was standing, hands full of bagels. And I said, hey, you don't know me, but you really do. I'm your first cousin. And he goes, what? And this is a guy that prides himself on knowing everybody. You know, people like that. They're like, oh, I am so connected. He's kind of got a little God complex, to be honest. Always did. Anyway, so he's like, what? I said, yeah, I used to be Susie Bleak. And his jaw drops. And he's just sitting there looking at me like, I don't even know what to say right now, but okay. And wow. And then he goes, you look so good. What else is he gonna say? He's like, I don't know who the F you are. No, he really did know me. And then we started talking. He was talking about my mom's funeral and how my brother read my letter to my mom at the funeral and whatnot. But it was quite an experience. And I walked out, got in the car, told Tiff, her jaw dropped. She's like, oh my God. And it was just one of those moments. I've never felt more grounded in myself having that conversation. And I was so glad to experience that experience and experience myself in a stronger place than I've ever stood in my life, just so grounded and centered in my truth, right? And you're here to do the same fucking thing. You are every day. Maybe you haven't transitioned your gender. Maybe you will. I don't know. But you have your story, you have your life. And the more true you live and I live to my truth, the better we feel when we're navigating the ups and downs of life. And when we aren't living true to ourselves, life does not feel as powerful at all. At all. Everything else is harder. So there you have it, right? And the reason I am where I am, I will attribute it to my path crossing with Tiff and saying yes at the highest level over and over and over to what felt true to me. But Tiff was the catalyst, and we met in a 12-step Overeaters Anonymous group meeting, where you go sit in a circle. Hi, my name's this, and I'm an overeater. Yeah,
Compulsive
compulsive
overeater.
overeater. Those were the words. And we did that for a while, for a few years, until we're like, I think we're kind of programming ourselves here, and it may not bode well if we're reciting our identity. Not that I have anything negative to say about the 12-step program, because it's brilliant. It really is. And it served us at a very high level for the time that we were there. No doubt about it. In fact, it started to shift my idea of God so that I could embrace a God that actually loved me and wasn't judging me 24/7. So met Tiff, everything changed. We were together 9 years before I transitioned. The world saw me as Susie, the lesbian. In fact, this is kind of wild. I'm going to show you a picture because, let's see, that's me. That was me.
That sexy babe.
So sexy. Like, seriously, that was me. And here I am, right? Here I am living my best day, living my highest truth, walking through the challenges of life, which we have plenty. But everything feels more solid and anchored because I know who I am. I know who I am and I am living it and I am showing up and I am my tone, my frequency, my truth is matched. So now I know that when I speak or I share or I laugh or I play, everything I do has the full frequency of me in it. And I love that. And I know that that also allows me to share, to reach you at a deeper level because I'm coherent with my truth. Now, all of you here are powerhouses on this planet. You wouldn't be on a call that's about awakening leaders if you weren't. You wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even think about it. You wouldn't even know it. It wouldn't matter to you. You wouldn't see it. Your brain would hide it, but you are a leader on this planet. You are a pattern breaker on this planet. You are breaking the patterns that have been stopping you and keeping you stuck. And that's what Tiff and I are here to do. We are here to lead the pattern breaker movement. And you're all pattern breakers. You're breaking your patterns and making the unconscious conscious so that we have a say and that we can make new decisions, right? So Tiff and I got together. Everything in my life completely changed. We were best friends for 3 years. We totally crossed the line, best kiss of my life, and everything else that came with it. Holy shit, I had no idea. I had no idea that my body could feel that way. And isn't it beautiful that we have a body as a companion on this journey? And it's our body that lets us know, hey, this is great. Like this feels good. This feels right. This feels great. Or hey, you're believing bullshit about yourself when you hear something and then you make it mean that you're too much or not enough or a failure or whatever it is. And then our body lets us know that we're believing bullshit. This is the foundational teachings that Tiff and I base our work from. The way that you know you're believing bullshit is when you are triggered. You hear something, see something, experience something that triggers you negatively, and you feel yourself getting agitated, either or trying to disappear or distract. It's in that moment you're believing something about the truth of who you really are. That's bullshit. And that's the word. Yeah, Tiff, go ahead.
Um, as you're talking, I was just thinking about all of you. Excuse me. Um, I know for a fact, just because I've listened to our clients and students over the years, that you have moments of, I want to do something more. I'm here to do something more. And all that conditioning that we have, all the fears from the experiences we've experienced, the genetics of the family we come from, oftentimes will clip your wing. And I was just thinking, when we started this business, and I know I'm supposed to share this, it didn't even come to me until now, but I had just, my husband at the time, my job was to take care of the kids and, I worked doing certain things, but we were not making enough money and he just didn't have the ability to change that. So we lost our fourth house. And I remember packing up my bird cage in my minivan, the kids coming home from school, the water had been turned off for I don't even know how long. And the sick part about it is my husband went and dug out the snow. That my husband at the time dug out the snow, lifted off the cover, went down and turned the water back on so we had water. They learned that we had done that, so they come back and put a lock on it so we couldn't get water. That's how severe it was. So I had my bird cage in my lap, and we're driving to my first husband Dan's dad's house. And I stop at Jack's house on the way, who was Susie at the time. And I think Jack put $100 in my pocket. And he goes, I don't know how you're doing this. And I said, I'll figure it out. We go to Dan's dad's house It took me 11 months to clean out that house. I took over, and that's when bag work was born. Because the stress of that scenario, sleeping in a bed, not a twin bed, the
Double.
double bed, with springs popping out of the bed in the back storage room, while my children are sleeping on a cement floor, that's when I thought, this is bullshit. Because everyone around me is doing just fine, or so it appears. They can afford to live. And at that time, I got a call from my aunt, and she said, I need to teach you something. Bring Susie. And I was dealing with the sexual abuse of my stepfather, and Susie was dealing with an abusive husband. And she said, I need to teach you something. So she took us through a process. And that was the beginnings of bag work. And what happened in that little session is that all of my trauma from the sexual abuse from my father, when I walked out of that experience, had disappeared. And all of the PTSD from an abusive husband with Susan had disappeared. And I went home and I heard a voice say, it's your job to bring this to the world. And you know what I did? I was putting socks away in a dresser. I remember the moment I heard it because I was leaning over, open the drawer to put socks in. It's your job to bring this to the world. And I started to laugh. And I said, really? How? You show me and I'll do it. And little by little, message by message, we started using the process on ourselves to change our lives. And boy, were we changing our lives. Everything was changing. And then we worked for 1 year with people for free to see if it worked on them too. And it was changing everyone's life. I'm like, come in, come in. Jack would come over in the middle of the day and we'd see clients. And then I'm like, hey, it's time to start doing seminars, is what I called them. So we would invite people and they'd pay $30 to come and spend the day with Tiff and Jack. And we would teach them about the brain and how to change their mind and how to create something. And our goal was to have a thriving business and then have our own coaches. Oh, we've done that now. We're international. We're all over the world. We have our own coaches. And if I wasn't willing to see something more and to be scared and take steps forward anyway, we would never be here. And same for Jack. And Jack is the one, like in the beginning, I was the one that was full steam ahead. And Jack was a little resistant. And now Jack is the powerhouse of this company. I have partially retired because I'm so tired, but I've had a lot of health issues and things like that. But Jack is the mindset guru on this planet. I do the healing and the mystical work to teach people how to, manage their energy and do all the wonderful things that gifted people do. But Jack is the one that teaches you how to change your pattern. Guys, you are not meant to live underneath anything you've ever been told. You are not meant to be there, or you wouldn't have these desires to change things. You wouldn't have these thoughts that come in and tell you, I am more than this. The only reason you have that is because you are more than what you were told you were. And all you have to do is change your mind, and it changes the pattern that you live in, and it brings in opportunities you cannot even possibly imagine. I feel really strongly to tell you there's more. And you're going to have to work through some really tough stuff. You're going to have to challenge the old ways of doing things in order for you to receive the new, in order for you to receive that abundance. You have to let go of the impoverished way of being. But it's not just, oh, I wake up in the morning and I just decide I'm done doing this. You have to do that inner work. You have to take a look at why you think the way that you think. And you have to ask yourself, is this true? This is why we created bag work, so that we could teach you how to do it. And it changes your whole life. Every single time you do it, you are more empowered. every single time. Jack,
Yeah, I would say that's the thing, the bag work. I always say this, bag work has given me back my choice, my true choice to be able to choose for myself what I really want, like transitioning my gender. When you have so many limiting beliefs that are getting in the way, you can't even think the thought, let alone choose it for yourself and live it. And Tiff, I really loved what you shared about taking the steps forward. Yeah, you do the bad work, you clear the limiting belief, but if you aren't taking a step forward every fucking day that scares you a little or a lot, you won't find yourself living in a big, new, different life because the body movement, the actual body engaging with the world, either doing something, speaking something, setting a boundary, making a call, doing your hypnosis, tending to your nervous system, if you don't move the body in response to the clear thought, you'll stay there and repattern your old pattern back into reality. So it does require, and what I know for sure as being a pattern breaker, somebody, it literally will feel like two steps forward, one step back. And but if you just keep going and you will not stop and you continue to clear the limiters that pop out, the fears, the triggers, the limiting beliefs, and clean them up as you go, as you're taking that step forward, saying yes in a bigger way, moving your body into a new position. And every step into the new position that you move your body into a new way of being is going to bring more to the surface to be cleared. And that's what's amazing. But that's also where I see people getting stuck because they're like, well, I either set this boundary or I made this decision or I moved forward and then it didn't turn out the way I thought it would, or it didn't look the way I thought it would. And I'm like, you have to keep going. You have to keep going because it's actually the next step forward when it looks like it's not turning out the way you want, where you're actually taking a step forward in your own choice as to what you're here to create and live and experience and do. And you know you're going to feel uncomfortable when you do it. If you will take that next step, the bridge to the next piece will appear. And the bridge doesn't appear, the net doesn't appear until you jump. It actually doesn't appear until you move your body towards whatever it is you're doing. And that's the thing when Tiffany, God, it feels really good to go back into our origin story and understand the hellscape that we were living in and where we are with the clarity of mind. And yes, challenges still happen. We still have things that challenge the fuck out of us, but we have the ability to work with our mind in a way that allows us to continue to clean out the fear, the limiting beliefs as we're navigating a bumpy road that makes it feel more powerful in the process. It's like we always have what we need inside of ourselves to keep saying yes, to not collapse into isolation or complete like going into the little box and hiding, right?
Jack,
Yeah,
Brenda Johnson said, it's been a continuous journey for me.
right.
I think there's a lot of people out there that think I'm going to do a couple things and then I'm done. But if you really think about your brain, and you have trillions, literally trillions of neural pathways, and those neural pathways carry messages to you that create your life. When you begin to delve in and you start taking a look at your stinking thinking, you begin this continuous journey. But here's what's amazing is the more you do, the better things get for you. So the more you understand, the deeper your experience becomes, the more you attract into your life. I was just sitting here thinking, is if you were to ask me, is your life perfect? I would be like, oh my God, no. I have things I have to work through continually. Right now, I'm going through some major family shifts and I'm having a lot of heartache and all kinds of things. But if I step back and I take a look at what I wanted to create for my life, I've created absolutely every single thing I wanted. Everything. To my marriage, to having a big family, to living abundance. Um, would I enjoy more abundance? Absolutely. Our marriage is always deepening. My relationship with my family is deepening. It's continuing to build. But everything that I wanted to step out of and to step into has happened. Every single thing except one thing, which is my weight. And you just watch. I'll get there. And you'll be like, oh, she did it. Because this is a continuous journey. This is not just something that you hurry and get done and then everything's perfect. That's not reality. But what is reality is having powerful tools to utilize as you walk this path. And when you have those tools, you get through things much faster. You have much more joy. You begin to resonate with abundant living. And I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about relationships, I'm talking about health, I'm talking about everything. And so I appreciate Brenda sharing that because it's not a one and done. This is your life. You have to manage your life because it belongs to you. It doesn't manage itself. You have to make choices. And when you have tools that work, use them. I can't even tell you how many times I've seen people with tools that will actually help them and they don't use them because their conditioning tells them they're not worthy. They're not worth
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And that's all bullshit. And that's where we come in. We help you find your stinking thinking and get rid of it so that you can shift the pattern and live your empowered life. Hey, Jack.
Oh my God. So here we are, Tiff and I living our dream, right? Living our best life now. And I love what you shared, Tiff, about how, yeah, this is where we are, and then there's more that we want, right? We want to expand this or expand that, or we want a better experience with this over here. And literally being able to continue on the journey because we are aware of how our brain works and what we need to do to clean up the part of our brain that's telling us that we can't do it, that we're not worth it, that we're too much, that we're not enough, that there's no place here for you where you belong, that you're different, that you're, yeah, I've heard it all. I've lived it all. I've heard it in my own head. I've heard it out of the mouths of all of our clients. This is life. And you are fucking spectacular. And every single misstep you've ever taken actually has brought you here. It wasn't truly a misstep, it was a step. It was a step on your journey. And every single thing we all do, everything we experience, all the good, all the bad, it all plays into today and then tomorrow. And it's what we tell ourselves that either makes it feel smoother and more hopeful, or we find ourselves just wanting to take a dirt nap because it feels too much. And that's common too. Like,
Really?
it's common.
How many of you have felt like you wanted to take a dirt nap? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's so funny. People are like, oh, I can't believe you'd say that. And I'm like, get real. Have you never wanted to take a dirt nap? Come on.
It's
And they're
it's
like,
so
okay, I have. Okay.
it's so true. So what I would love to know from all of you, and I want you to share in the chat thread, is what is calling to you?
Mm.
Right? Tiff and I are talking about our story. We're talking about how we have gotten to this point, and we have a hell of a lot of big life to still live. And just watch, it's just gonna get bigger. No doubt about it. We are nowhere near done.
Yeah. And Jack's going to be teaching Tony Robbins, 3,000 of Tony Robbins people in the middle of
I
January.
got my date. It's looking like January 16th at
And
noon.
I'm like, oh boy, I think it's time for us to buckle up because once they experience Jack, they're going to be like, who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Amazing. Like I have this experience, I have this opportunity to go stand in that arena and be me there. And I'm so glad I'm me. I'm so glad I don't feel like, oh, how do I do this? I know exactly how to do this. I know exactly what to talk about. I know what's important. I know what the message is that must come out of my face until the day I die. It's this one. Please be true to you because you're fucking amazing.
Hey, Jack,
Yeah.
what if I were to tell you, a decade ago or when we first met that you'll be standing on Tony Robbins' stage coaching his people?
I would have laughed it off.
Right.
I would have completely put it out. I would have been like,
Yeah,
what?
whatever.
That's not ever going to happen. But yeah, it's happening. And it's because I have a message and I get to speak to the coaches in his and Dean Graziano's MBA program. And I get to speak to their coaches and I get to talk about the same thing that you were made this way. You were made right. You were not made as a broken piece of you. You are whole. The way you show up in business and in life is authentic. Because if we aren't being authentic, our people won't find us because they won't know our pattern, they won't hear our voice, they won't hear our frequency. And I'm talking to you. So maybe you want to be a coach, maybe you do. Maybe you're like, I want to grow my healing business. I want to grow my coaching business. I want to have a relationship that feels like this. I want to live a life where I feel this way. That's yours. You were born with this as part of you. And every misstep you've ever made is part of it. Every single piece, there's nothing you've experienced in this life that won't support you at a higher level with where you're going today and tomorrow and the next day. And this is my dying wish. And I want to live a long time. I want to hit way close to 100. I'm just going to keep talking to you about how important you are. You're not broken. It's just your bullshit, fucked up thoughts. They are not you. They are not you. They are running the show because you've been patterned because of the experiences that you've had in your life and the genetic programming that you came into this life with. But it's always been going to be a part of it. And that means there's a way through it. And that means even where you're standing today, and I want you all to drop what you want. Let's see, I didn't see too many of you drop in. I want to know, like, where are you feeling inspired? What's calling to you today? What is it you want? You hear Tiff and I talk. This is our story. What's yours? Put it in the thread right here, right now. Drop it in. What do you want more of in your life? What do you feel called to? What feels important to you? What is it? Where are you feeling inspired as you listen to Tiff talk about her story? You listen to me talk about mine. What about yours? Share it in the chat thread. This is where you get to exist. This is where you get to be seen. Put it in the chat thread so we can see what's calling to you. And then we can hold our intention with yours. And then you can realize that there's a whole bunch of bullshit you're believing about yourself that's getting in the way, that's running a pattern that's making you feel like you'll never get there, or that you don't deserve it, or that you're too old, or you're too poor, or you're too this, or you're too that. For me, I'm too much of a trans man. Yeah, I don't buy into that bullshit.
Too
I
much.
did. I did for a minute as I was transitioning. It was seriously scary.
It
I,
was.
I was really, really stressed. And it
So,
took me, go
uh,
ahead.
oh, sorry, babe.
That's okay.
Um, Barb said, I'm working on building plans for my coaching business. Good job, Barb. Helen said, I don't know yet, but I feel like I have more to do. When you have that feeling, that means something's coming for you. And just staying open to that is a really important thing. Graham said, desire to travel. I have a date with a motorhome, which is amazing because that is bringing a vibration into the world of adventure and joy. And that right there does as much as any other kind of experience you want to have. So good job, Graham. Let's see. Grow and begin my Reiki business and get my Reiki master's degree. That would be so
Amen.
amazing, Caroline.
Amazing.
So amazing.
And Cecilia, to be of service to others, but not to be taken advantage of. So with strong boundaries. Amen,
Eh,
sister. Seriously. Kelly, help heal people's hearts before they pass on palliative care.
Beautiful.
Alex, I'm waiting for the aliens. God damn it. I'm ready. So when you look at this, like this is you. This is you. You have everything you need inside of you to fulfill this. You were born this way. Do you hear me? You were born this way. You weren't made wrong. You were born this way, and it includes your dream and your desire. And the fact that you have a place where we get to all share this together. I would like everyone in this room, I'm going to do something a little different. I want to have everybody close their eyes, and we're going to hold space for each other in these dreams. Okay. So as you're willing, go ahead and close your eyes. As you close your eyes, I want you to breathe into that amazing, beautiful body of yours, that smart, smart body. It's like the smartest phone there is times a billion. You live in a smart body. Your body loves you. Your body is part of this experience. It's what allows you to feel this life. So as you breathe in, breathe right down into your hips. Anchor yourself. Feel your body turning to lead wherever you're sitting, and just breathe and be there with this amazing body. And as you breathe into your body and you drop into your breath, and then anywhere you've taken on other people's stuff today, return it to sender. Just release and push off anywhere that you've picked up and carried other people's stuff. It's okay, they can carry it. You don't have to. Good. And then anywhere you've given your power away today, or yesterday, or this week, or your life, pull it back and tap it into your heart. Just see yourself pulling your power back, your choice back, your right to choose right back, and tap it right into your heart. And then for just a moment, I want you to bring to the top of your mind this thing that feels like it's calling to you. It feels so alive, so yours. I want you to embody it. I want you to let your body wrap around it. I want you to feel the feeling that it's already here, that you're in it. It's yours, and you feel deeply anchored, very clear, very, very grounded. Good. And then as you feel that, call it in your mind, make a decision. This is mine. I choose it. I want to hear and be completely aware of my next step. Please show me. And if you're right here in this moment, speak to source, God energy, call it forth. I want this. I claim my place. I claim my creation on this planet. I claim my voice. I claim my feelings. I claim my body. I claim my desires. I claim my path and my purpose. Show me. And as you do that, make a decision in your soul that you will take action. Whatever the next step is, whenever it presents itself, that you won't waffle. You will say yes, and you will say yes quickly, and you will move forward that step very swiftly. And making that decision, holding that sacredly within your soul as a firm declaration for your truth. Perfect. And now, I want you to expand your mind to everyone in this room, everyone listening to the replay, to hold space for their dream too. I want you to see in your mind's eye people all around you living their dream, living their truth, totally, powerfully connected with the truth of themselves on this planet, making a massive difference for good. And you're part of it. And then, as you recognize and hold space for one another in this beautiful space, take a breath, come back into your body, declare that I am a pattern breaker and I choose to live my truth this day and every day as I walk forward. And as you drop all the way back into your awareness, feel the air in the room, feel the energy around you, hear what you hear, taste what you taste, see what you see, come all the way back into the smart, beautiful body of yours. And once you do that, you can open your eyes, join us here, and know that Tiff and I, we've got you. We do. We are here to serve you, and we love it. And as I offer this, and Tiff, anything else you want to say, please do. And the thing that I would like to offer, many of you are already in our group work. You're in our what we call life path mastery. It used to be called personal track. That's our life path. Many of you are walking in that. You're with us. If any of you listening to this aren't, your job is to find me. DM me, send me a text. My phone number is 801-243-4460. Send me a text. I want to talk to you. I want to help you see what's keeping you stuck and bring you in so we can support you at a higher level. And that's what we're here to do. And I'm just going to keep fucking talking about it until every last one of you have the fucking support you need to feel held as you walk this walk. Keep going. Tiff, what would you like to say?
Put yourself first. Stop putting everyone before you. Even if it's your pets, even if it's your kids, even if it's your spouse, even if it's your parents. Doesn't mean you're going to abandon them, but it's time for you to stop abandoning yourself. Do
That's the whole
something that
point.
will actually change your life. It's important.
It is.
You only have this life. This is it. Let's get it right, shall we? Let's live our best life. I'm sure as hell gonna do it. I'm putting myself first.
That's the work. I mean, it really is the moment at which we understand the sacredness of this, of our yes for our true self, and that it's only when we're living in coherence with our truth that we are the most impactful. The most joy that we can feel is when we're in coherence, not incoherence, but coherent with our truth. And the way we get real with ourselves is to stay really clear on what we want, right? There's so much we could talk about. This is our last live stream for 2025, and then we'll host one in 2026 because that's the way we roll, and we love you and we're here for you, and we are here to stand with you and to hold you and to walk with you and to remind you. And this has been a joyful experience to see your faces here, to feel your energy, to read your words. I loved, Tiff, I loved listening to you share our story. I'm so grateful that for every step we had on our journey, and so many of those steps terrified the fuck out of us. So if you're feeling afraid or you hit one of those rough patches or you're not sure your next step, just remember you're going to make it through. And if you're looking for support, we would love to be that group support and bring you into a community of people like you that are pattern breakers. You're in the right place. Keep going. That's the only thing you have to do is keep fucking going. Don't stop. And move your body towards your dream, please. Thank you for being here with us. Sending you so much love. Happy holidays. Tend to you, be good to you, love on you. Know that you're not alone, and we see you. We love you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.